All right, last one. You guys remember Alyssa Milano?
Yeah, from Charmed.
Right. Okay. Now I'm gonna totally nerd out on you guys for 1 second. Can you guys name the superhero who named a spaceship after Alyssa Milano? If you can do this, I'll be super impressed. But if you can't,
Spaceship.
Yeah. There's a superhero named a spaceship after.
A Marvel one?
Maybe.
No idea.
I'm guessing it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
You're right.
Oh, okay.
Star-Lord named his spaceship the Milano, and it actually is allegedly named after Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, because she was in a TV show when she was younger. Growing Pains or something?
Who's the boss?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Good. Hey, you get 2 high fives today. This is your big day.
I like superhero movies. So.
I do too. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. All right. So I always applaud celebrities being open about their plastic surgery. So we're doing a segment today about Alyssa Milano opening up about her breast implant removal surgery that apparently just went down a couple days ago. This past week on Instagram, the 52-year-old actress was talking very openly about her decision to remove her breast implants. And I must say, she got a little philosophical about it. I've removed a ton of breast implants, and I haven't had anybody ever come in claiming the things.
Is she one of the ones that's that
the
we
illness?
talked to? Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No, it was not a breast implant illness.
Okay.
I actually had somebody ask me about that for the first time in forever this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That kind of like just disappeared almost. Like, you don't see people talking about it. Have you ever heard of breast implant illness, Brenna?
No, but
Okay.
I believe that it's a thing.
You do believe it's a
I
thing?
feel like it, maybe.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have to discuss that.
Okay.
Not today, though. Next time. All right. Okay, so she, on her Instagram, said that she once believed implants were necessary for her to be attractive, loved, or successful. That is so tragic. I would be so alarmed if somebody came in and told me that was why they were getting implants. She went on to explain that she's letting go of the body that was sexualized and abused in the past, and she's going to be her authentic self. So she hasn't given an update outside of the same day she posted that she was resting comfortably after her surgery. Now, she should do fine. Breast implant removal surgery is not something that is overly complicated or risky. I do several a month at this point, which it has grown in popularity.
Is it age related, or is it just people that are getting older and they're like, I don't want these anymore?
Yeah, I think that is a great question, and I'm going to break all it down for you.
Okay.
Because I think that, where you can learn from this. Well, one thing to be learned from this is, if you have implants in, what are your options or how does it work? And also, too, if you're thinking about getting implants, which I think breast implants are great. If they're done properly, they're fantastic. I mean, it's one of the absolute most popular surgeries in the United States. But you need to make smart decisions, or it's much more likely that you're going to want them out sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
If they're done properly, then a lot of people get them and they forget about them, and they're happy with them. So why do women want to remove implants, and what makes the difference between women who keep them and women who remove them? Well, some women do remove them because of problems. In fact, I had a nice lady come into my office this week wanting to remove her implants. She'd gotten a bunch of scarring after she had her implants done, the contracture that we talk about, and her surgeon told her that it was normal. And so she's been running around for 10 years with these implants that are scarred up. And so she comes in, she wants them out. I'm like, if you want them out, that's fine. But I mean, you do know that this is easily fixable, right? And she's like, what? And so, she had a bad experience. And so now she's trying to decide if she wants to remove them. But that'd be an example of somebody who requests removal because of complication.
Yeah.
To get to your point, which is very, very good, is to me the most common reason that women want to remove breast implants is if they've been in a long time and their bodies just change.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens to most people as they get older? Most people gain weight. Like, it's a very, very common thing. And if you're a woman and you gain weight, where does it go very commonly?
Mm-hmm.
To your breasts. So if you go out there and you get some larger implants and then you gain weight, which is very normal, suddenly these breasts that you loved when you were, 30 years old, when you got them, are just too much to handle. And I have a picture of Alyssa, that second picture, Brenna. Yeah. I mean, her breasts are pretty enormous in this picture. This is obviously before she had them removed. This was, I think, a year or two ago. And I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she doesn't look her age at all. She's beautiful, right? But she's not the petite, stick figure that she was when she got her implants.
Mm-hmm.
And so now her breasts are very large. I totally could see her wanting to either remove them or downsize them,
Mm-hmm.
based on, what size they are now, because those are going to be uncomfortable and potentially be problematic for her. So, I think there's 2 points to be learned here is one, what are your options if you, want to get your implants out? And we've done segments on this. Maybe our social media people can link that previous one we talked about breast implant removals. But just to recap it, I mean, you can, if they're too big, you can downsize them or you can get them out. But one of the most important things to know if you're going to take out your implants is most people are going to need a breast lift. Because if you imagine that this is your breast implant here, and this is your breast tissue over the top of it, and you suddenly take this very large volume out, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It's just going to collapse,
Mhm.
and the shape's not going to be great. So far and away, the most common thing I do when I take implants out, remove the implant, remove that scar tissue layer or capsule layer that's around it so you get a nice fresh edge to heal together, and then you close them up and you do a lift, and you can have a very, nice looking breast, albeit smaller than you started with.
Yeah.
Now, there is a very small percentage of people who get really small implants and they have a lot of breast tissue, and you potentially could take that out and maybe see just a very minor shift in the breast. So there's a handful of people I've done where we just took out their implants and didn't do a lift and they end up looking fine.
Yeah.
But if you are going to get your implants out, it's reasonable to expect that you might need to have a breast lift done at the same time if you care about what the shape of your breast looks like, which most people do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the final thing to kind of learn from this is, okay, if you're thinking about getting breast implants, how can you avoid being in that group of people that's going to want to have them out either sooner or later? Well, I think first off, find a good surgeon, find somebody that does a ton of breast augmentations, because there are people who eventually get their implants out because they just have problems. Maybe the surgeon doesn't do a good job or gives you bad advice, and you have problems, and then you're going to want your implants out. The other way to avoid it is not to go super big, because if you get big implants that make you, like, say, a double D,
Yeah.
and then you gain any weight at all, like, your breasts are going to quickly get out of hand.
Mhm.
And, I always talk about my wife, which I'm sure she hates, but when she got her implants, she got smaller implants. And for a while, she's like, oh, I want to get bigger implants. Well, I mean, it's 15 years down the road. I mean, she still looks phenomenal, but she's, put on a few pounds since then, and her breasts are fine because she didn't go crazy big. And so
Mhm.
that was a really smart decision on her part. And then lastly, if you want to avoid that, I mean, just, I know it's hard to say this, but, keeping your weight as maintained as possible,
Mhm.
because that, to me, that's far and away the biggest reason that people get implants out. I see it just time and time again that implants 10 years old, 15 years old, you put on weight, the breasts get larger, and suddenly you don't want them anymore.
Right.
And I do think it's fair. I think that what you said, I think specifically, if I remember correctly, when you mentioned is you said people just don't want big breasts anymore. What did you say? I can't remember.
Like they're just getting older and they don't want.
Yeah, they just don't want to have bigger breasts.
Yeah.
Even if they're maybe not too big,
Yeah.
they just want, these don't
It's
want,
almost kind of like, oh, I'm 60 years old. I don't need to have, I'm not going to wear crop tops anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. No, I get it.
It's just like,
Yeah, you might want to draw attention to yourself when you're 25 or 30,
Yeah.
but when you're 55, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that. I think that absolutely does happen. But no, I applaud her for being open about it. And just, bringing to light that, and she, I was kind of maybe griefing her a bit about what she said, and just, very lightheartedly. But she did go on to say that for a lot of women, breast implants are a very good thing. So I think her whole statement was, actually very well put together, and I applaud her for being open about it.
yeah.
Because there are people out there with implants, and seeing someone else have theirs removed and, having a good experience with it, might make them more comfortable doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there definitely is growing. The number of people removing implants is increasing because there's just so many women that got implants 20 or 25 years ago. And now they're getting older and, just bodies changing, desires changing. And I mean, I do at least 2 implant removals a month. I mean, sometimes 4 or 5. It's becoming a bigger and bigger part of my practice.
Yeah, but you still do more implants though.
I still put in more implants than I take out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, implants are great. I just, again, if you want to do it the right way, just don't get crazy. the more crazy you go at putting implants in, the more likely you're going to have them out in a short time frame.
Yeah.
You make a smart decision, and you could have your implants in 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And, I mean, it's all about making good
Too
decisions.
much of a good
finding
thing is
surgeon.
never a good thing.
I know, right? Yeah, it can always be too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to recap this real quick, Brennan. Today we're talking about Alyssa Milano, who opened up about her breast implant removal surgery. And she got a little philosophical, talking about how, she felt like she had to have these when she was younger. And she did kind of grow up in Hollywood. And I definitely feel bad for her about that. I do a ton of breast implant removals. This is a surgery that is on the rise because there are so many women out there who got implants 10, 15, 20 years ago, and now they just don't want them anymore. And some of the most common reasons that happen is I think number one is as we age, we tend to gain a little bit of weight. Women gain weight in their breast, and suddenly their breasts that were augmented get even larger, and they get too big, and they just don't want that anymore. Sometimes people just don't want to draw attention to themselves anymore. And then sometimes people want them out because they've had complications. That does happen from time to time. But yeah, I do lots of these surgeries. They're great surgeries. If you think about having it done, it is a very straightforward, easy surgery if done by someone who is skilled and does this a lot. It does often in time require doing a lift to reshape the breast after that big volume is taken out because the breast tends to collapse. So just be aware of that. But the other thing to know is if you're thinking about getting implants, one way to maybe prevent you from wanting to have them taken out sooner rather than later is, one, find a great surgeon who's going to do a good job, so no problems. And two, be a little bit conservative when you get your implants. If you push the limits on the size and you go to those double Ds when you're young, you're much more likely 5 or 10 years down the road to want to get them out. So hope that's helpful. Boom.